Good afternoon, ladies and menfolk. Welcome to episode 52 of Word Ninjas Live. Coming to you another week to talk about wordy things and all the crazy shenanigans that we get into. Kind of a short crew this week. Just your instigator of literary insanity, myself. And joining me is Will.
Hello.
Apparently I scared everyone else away. Don't know where they wandered off to. So you get just the two of us for this time round, unless they happen to be fashionably late, which, as you know, sometimes we do. That's the way it goes. And now that we're actually live, I can actually send all the social media stuff because I did not pre-schedule that. And it doesn't let you do it like 5 minutes beforehand.
How terribly inconvenient.
It does get a bit cranky at the last minute. There we go. Now, as you can see, we do not have any special guests this week, but we do have a couple lined up for future episodes, and about another dozen or so still in the works. So look forward to those. Really hope that some of the dozen actually can be solidified in the next week or so before convention time.
Yay, more convention.
Yeah, then we get to be crazy all over again.
At least this time it looks like on a smaller scale.
Yeah. It's going to be a smaller scale, and it's going to be a little more organized. Mainly in the fact that I've been forced to delegate. So it's not all on me.
The
Hooray.
buttons do look very highly organized right now, I will let you know.
Yeah, well, I'm going to groom that
that,
next
thank you.
weekend. Because I'm going to bring everything else that we have next weekend. So I'm going to confuse it all over again. Just for Ed.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be thrilled. More stuff.
All I hear is grumbling in the background, so I presume I have done my job well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright. We only have the one talkie point scheduled for this week, because that's all I came up with. But it came about because plot bunnies are distracting.
Oh, yeah.
The one talkie point for this episode that I have is how much time, energy, or effort do you put into fleshing out or playing with new story ideas? Because I got a sparkly plot bunny this week, and it amuses me.
It's a rare shiny plot bunny.
I like to think so.
Yay!
Although I haven't gotten to play with it as much as I want. But usually, if I get a new idea that I think is really worth playing with, I just do a brief outline of what I have or what instigated the idea. And if I have the time, I'll play with it a little bit. And if I don't, I let it sit and gather dust for 3 millennia. And if I'm lucky, I'll remember just what the heck I was going on about whenever I get back.
Then it becomes a plot dust bunny.
Yeah, I have a lot of those. I have several binders worth of those. They all seemed like good ideas at the time, but then I don't remember why they were good ideas at the time.
That goes. So many stories left forgotten because new plot bunnies came up.
Either that or I just keep on going back to my zombie apocalypse universe over and over and over and over. And then I don't play with anything else. Which isn't very fair.
I have the problem of already concocting spin-offs of Roommate, and I haven't even finished Roommate yet. And I already have definitely 2 short story spin-offs, and one that could potentially become another long novella-sized or novel-sized spin-off, or maybe even a continuation of And sometimes those plots like to eke into my head and formulate, and it's not time for them yet because I need to finish Roommate first. Because it requires Roommate to be over first.
There's no way to multitask and kind of play with both at the same time.
I can like plot out what to do, but I don't want to write it yet. Just in case I change anything for Roommate, I don't want to lock myself down with something in a spin-off and then forget about it and get things all screwy.
Fair enough. I think my biggest problem with new plot ideas is I want to invest the appropriate amount of time to make them novel lengths, but unless it's November, it just doesn't seem to happen. And some of these ideas I feel are worth the time investment to get them fully fleshed out or at least played with. And then I feel guilty when I don't.
Mm. I'm just glad that I'm getting like half a page to a page written a day now. On the days that I do write. Which is about half the days of the week so far.
It's better than me lately. Mostly it's just been a lot of editing for my day job or writing for the day job or outlining stuff for Terra 2015. I don't get to do much creative writing, even when I get shiny plot bunnies.
Aw.
But I think I am going to force myself to have time to play with this one because it really does interest me. I do kind of want to see just how I could make it play out.
Mm.
And I blame Tumblr for giving me the idea.
Oh, Tumblr is great for giving you ideas you don't want.
Hmm. It was all based on a weird concept of, well, you have mermaids, but what if there are mermaids in lava?
Mm. I thought you were going to go with the ones that were mermaids that were half human, half other sea creatures, like the anglerfish mermaid and the shark mermaid and the jellyfish mermaid.
Well, it led me to think of, well, if the regular mermaids are the water equivalent, then why can't there be one for every element? So you have an air mermaid and an earth mermaid. And then that led
Wouldn't
me,
wouldn't an air mermaid be a harpy?
yeah, or succubus or some such. That's kind of where I tried to make a connection. And I don't know what the land mermaid would be.
Tortoise? A land tortoise?
Maybe a platypus.
That would be funny. And nothing lives in lava, so
That we know of.
that we know of. Scientists did just discover an entire ocean deep beneath the surface of the Earth. So
Anything is possible.
hmm.
But
There
yeah.
was one going around on Tumblr the other day about a hospital run by monster creatures, and like werewolves were like those support pets, and
Mm.
vampires gave blood or acted like leeches, and what was it? Oh, I think it was something about they could sniff out blood disease,
Hmm.
and they'd use that to try and help identify blood diseases, and there was a whole thing.
That would be an interesting take on it. Kind of similar to how there was a post a while back about Pokemon being helpers for various things,
Hmm.
mostly for like physical or psychological needs.
Yeah. It is implied in the Pokemon universe that they actually do that.
At least when people aren't forcing them to fight each other.
Yeah. You do notice they also do manual labor and whatnot beside people. Like if you go to a mine, there'll be humans and Pokemon mining the mine together.
Hmm. I wonder what sort of salary they get for that.
They get paid in Pokepuffs. That is the one thing I noticed. I don't think the Pokemon get paid. I think it's basically slave labor. Nobody ever talks about that.
I'm sure PETA loved that.
You didn't hear about the whole web game they made about Pokemon a few years back?
Yeah, yeah. PETA is special.
PETA is special. I heard they volunteered to help families in Chicago with their debts, but only if those families went vegan.
For how long, and how would they track that?
I don't know, but talk about taking advantage of a person's desperate situation to plug your own stupid cause.
Hmm.
If you want to help people, you should just help people. There shouldn't be a condition. Then you're not really helping people, then you're blackmailing people.
The chaotic neutral version of that would be they would just provide the food in a vegan manner for them so that they could not have to worry about paying for food and then pay
I
off their
mean,
debts themselves, but still.
that's different though. Then it's like we're giving you food, but it's vegan food. But then you're just giving them food. That's okay. That's the bribery. That's just like we're not comfortable giving you meat to eat, but here's a whole bunch of vegetables that you need.
Hmm.
Well, then you're still helping them. You're not blackmailing them anymore. But to say we'll give you money, but you have to spend it on what we say, or here's money to pay your debts, but now you have to only eat vegan.
The only way I could see them tracking that is if like the people paid for the food themselves and then expensed it, and then the PETA could like review the receipts or something.
I don't know. It's a whole bunch of bull hockey.
Hmm.
That's what I say. And it has nothing to do with plot bunnies.
No, that was a rather effective derailment.
We went from plot bunnies to Pokemon to PETA. We followed the piece.
Now, how do we bring it back around?
uh, I
Pocky?
just Pocky works. I've plotted a character that likes Pocky.
Hmm. I wonder
Oh,
how other people handle dealing with all the story ideas that they have, because there really isn't time to work on all of them.
we need Ed in on this one.
I'm working on it.
Ed's coming in. If
Okay.
anyone knows how to handle multiple plots.
Hey, it's an Ed.
You rang?
We are talking about trying to deal with multiple plot bunny ideas.
Yeah, I'm not the person you want to talk to about this.
But you have so many stories.
That's exactly why you don't want to talk to me about this. Because I can't handle them.
But we need content.
The instigator of literary insanity says to ramble.
God.
How many currently active plots do you have?
Are we talking just Ed or Roy? Or...
Let's start with just Ed. All iterations.
Oh, Jesus Christ, you fucking Christ.
Because there are multiple, and I know of almost all of them.
You think.
I said almost.
Just the different variations. Hold on, I can find out for you. I have to look because I don't remember offhand. Luckily, I have a convenient link. I can use my block for this.
I only have 5 that I can think of. Mainly because I let so many just gather dust.
Like I said, I'm always working on plot for roommate. And there's multiple plots for that because of how many characters there are. So it's all that plot's intertwined. Because at the very least, it's Max's story and Aiden's story at the same time. But even then, there's different stories because there's Max and Aiden's story together of how they're interacting. Right now, I got Aiden and Jacob, and I have Aiden and his sister and their situation, and I have Max and the new guy she met at college, and Max at work, and Max at college. And how all this interacts to make an average life for most people because people have so much going on at the same time, typically. Between friends and work and family and dating, having a social life.
What's a social life?
It's this thing that some people do where they go out with other people and do things for fun. Like
Do the thing with thing and the
like
things.
bowling.
I haven't done that since first college.
Yeah.
I guess yesterday could kind of count because I did go out and do stuff with Justin, and there were fun moments, but that really was for Terror 2015.
Business pleasure? Business socialization?
Yeah, let's go with that. Let's see. For me, I have the Slash and Burn verse, which has about 6 different alternate universes just within that. Let's see. You got the Zombies on the Sea. You got the serious version, current day. You got the campy version, current day. You got Zombies on the Moon.
What?
All I can think of is that episode of Futurama. Where there's zombies on the moon.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Yeah, the Zombies on the Moon one did not end well. I got my space opera that I really would like to play with again someday, based off of Norse mythology. It's basically the equivalent of Crackfic of my fairy world, where the fairies and the imps do political shenanigans. Now I have this weird elemental mermaid plot. I had a weird one that is just a standalone book at the moment. It hasn't fully fleshed out as a universe where people can use books to travel to alternate dimensions, little pocket verses. That one was fun. Weird, but fun. Basically, your entire house was in a book that you just carried around with you.
Interesting.
Everything else is just a dusty plot bunny that I never really got to play with. Shame on me.
Like I said, I've got everything for Roommate, and then I have a spin-off for Roommate about Cheryl, which would kind of just be a short story thing. Might make a good... I've plotted that one out enough that it might actually make a good nano.
Well, isn't Camp Nano happening again in August?
Not that ready for it.
Well,
August is in less than a week.
I don't know how we're going to deal with Nano in November since days 1 and 2 are in Rhode Island Comic Con.
We will be sitting at the booth writing. People would come up to ask us questions, be like, "Not now! It's Nano."
Unless you want to be added into this story, go away.
That's what we should try to do, see if we can get the con story to be nano length
Oh God.
in 2 days.
We'll put it up and it'll just be like, 25,000 words today.
I don't want to transcribe that.
We'll have to force them to keep the theme.
Hmm.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I'll just transcribe it because just typing it up.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter whether it keeps the theme or not.
Hmm.
That would be fun and interesting, though.
Yeah, we should do something fun nano-related for Rhode Island. That would be fun. And it would encourage people to stop by.
Hmm. Let's see. I also have a plot idea, but this one's a bit less fleshed out for Jacob. I kind of like it, but I need more plot for it. Because there's no real story behind it. Like, there needs to be a villain or an actual person or a situation. At least for the one with Cheryl, I actually have an issue that needs to be resolved and plot like that. And then spin-off of spin-offness series that needs to stop bugging me because it definitely can't take place for until Roommate's over because
Spoilers.
spoilers, yeah. And it takes place almost 20 years later.
Oh my.
Yeah, well. When your brain goes, well, if so-and-so got married and had kids, what would their kids be like? Let's write a story about them as teenagers. Yeah. The only couple I'm comfortable talking about is Marcus and Tara, since the rest are up in the air.
Literally or figuratively?
Depends on what they're doing at the time. I know Tara and Marcus are going to have twin daughters and then a son.
Oh my.
Yeah.
So has Ed figured out just how many universes he plays with, or are we still
Just
delaying?
on Edward. And I've got about 30 different ones, and that's not including the various stories with the 30 different versions.
Maybe you should be the instigator of literary insanity.
No, you can have that job, CJ.
Aw.
Well, let's just see. You have your Major Edward Elric.
Okay, wait. Before you get into this, I have the list.
The list.
There is a list.
There has to be a list or you won't remember.
Yeah. I can remember the verses in my head as long as I have the list of the main Ed for each one. I mean, I have everything from stripper Ed to Mestrian military Ed to U.S. military Ed.
My favorite is Fashion Model Ed.
Yes, I have fashion model Ed. I have a librarian version. I have versions that cross over into Yu-Gi-Oh! Soul Eater. What else do I have here? I have homunculi versions of him. I have one that is an exorcist pianist. He uses his piano to exorcise demons.
That's unique.
Yeah. It was based off of the fact that my regular Ed actually plays the piano and plays the guitar to clear his head. And it just kind of like snowballed. Don't let me get a hold of the AU ideas that float around on Tumblr. This is what happens.
So I still like the Fashion Model Ed because he talks to Max about fashion.
And he yells at her when she picks.
Oh,
Sometimes.
I agree mostly. As long as they point out the right shirt to you. One time, it's like, she likes that shirt. That shirt? Oh, that shirt. Not that ugly thing. The other one.
Okay, that's not bad. And that's not including the different versions of Hughes or Roy or Gene. I'm working anywhere between. I've got to be working close to triple digits at this point.
Oh goodness.
You see what I put myself through.
There's more plotting going on in this household than you could ever imagine.
At least a lot of character development.
Well, if you're able to keep all of that organized to varying degrees, then it's no wonder you can keep track of all of our ridiculous inventory. That's probably easy in comparison.
Sometimes. Until I'm blindsided by a butt ton of old buttons that I didn't know we had.
Presumably there were no matchsticks amongst it all, at least.
No.
That would have been interesting.
I can't promise that in regards to whatever else I'm bringing next weekend, though. That all bets are off.
We'll sort it out. Anything I don't need is going back with you.
That's what I figure. This time it might be worth recording that, considering you'll probably have the same reaction as Justin.
What?
Wanting to throw stuff at him. That was Justin's initial reaction. Wanting to throw stuff at CJ.
I won't throw stuff.
Can I get that in writing?
I didn't say I wouldn't do worse, I just said I wouldn't throw stuff. You know how mean I am.
I'll be sure to just purposefully put all of the 2-inch buttons in one giant bin. No bags.
Then I make no promises about throwing stuff. Wait a minute, we have 2-inch buttons.
Yeah.
We had them last year. I just didn't bring them this year.
How do we do 2-inch buttons?
Third-party person.
Ah.
Only a couple designs, but a lot of copies.
I think I need more books. I may put a 2-inch press on our list.
Yeah, there's a lot of designs that I'd like to do, but they won't fit conveniently on a 1 1/4 inch.
Like I said, this is why I want a bigger button press and stuff on our list.
You know it should be on our list? An espresso machine. Because we're going to need a lot of coffee.
Wow.
Maybe we can get one of those industrial ones that cafes use.
There you go. We just need something with a large water reservoir so we can make a lot of coffee really quickly.
Everyone gets their own coffee pot.
I am not objectionable to this.
That might be the best way to go. Just get one of those like 4-burner coffee pot machines. Everyone gets their own pot so you can make your own brew.
Mm.
I mean like the ones that sit on the counter at McDonald's. They've got the 2 burners down here, and then they got the 2 up top. But
Mm.
you just have to make sure not to leave anything sitting for more than 5 minutes. The one little bit of sunlight.
It's like the clouds got just thin enough, but they're also dispersing the light, so the sky has become a wall of light.
Oh my.
It's bright, as you can see.
I'm gonna stay sitting over here.
Yeah.
Let's see. Are there any other talkie point worthy conversations we'd like to have? Because that was the only one that I came up with for the week.
That's plot bunnies. You knew.
Why did we decide to kill off a plot bunny?
That would be mean.
You've never decided that the plot wasn't worth it?
I haven't really played with enough plots to make that decision. Chances are half of the ones that are just collecting dust are not worth really focusing or playing much with. I
Mm.
just haven't really taken the time to look at them.
I admit, the road at my feet is paved in dead plot bunnies.
I've mixed plots before. Usually they just get mutated into other stuff. So I'll decide I liked where this was going except for this part, and then I'll change part of it, and then it becomes a new plot bunny.
That's why I have 6 different versions of the slash and burn universe.
Well, I'll decide stuff like, what if these characters were sisters instead of friends, or what if I took this whole plot and put it in space?
Space zombies.
Space zombies. Well, I love these characters, but I don't love the story. Let's put them in space. It's
Space!
always good to put people in space.
So beauty rules.
In space alien monsters.
Yeah, I have a couple of those in the space opera. That one requires too much research, though. Because I don't know my Norse mythology as well as I should, or at least all the different realms and stuff within them.
What you need to know is Loki had a baby horse with like 10 legs. Something like that.
Yeah, hopefully that doesn't find its way into the space opera. Space zombies are weird enough, never mind space horses.
Multi-legged space horses.
Too complicated. I mean, I don't know how they'd be able to move in space unless they had a little jetpack on them or something. And then however many
Nyan-Cat
legs they
flies
have
through
is
space
pointless.
Nyan-Cat flies through space like with rainbows or something like that.
Yeah, well, that's a cat, not a horse.
The Pop-Tart cat at that.
Mm.
I do not want a 10-legged horse powered by Pop-Tarts. That would be weird.
That would be a little weird.
But then again, I do have space zombies, so who knows? Let's see. Well, that's all the talkie points we have. Let's do the highlights reel. I filled in some highlights reel stuff. Because since it's the end of the month on Thursday, that means that we can kind of take a peek as to what is coming out next month. And various stuff is coming out next month. Unfortunately, I'm going to be boring and say that none of it really interests me.
Oh
Mm.
Oh, there we go. I'm just going the easy route. Barnes & Nobles has a convenient thingy that tells you what's coming out each week.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really know authors as well as I should, so only a few things jumped out at me, like Terry Goodkind has another novel coming out. I don't know how many books that author can write. It's probably in the triple digits by now, I feel like. It's ridiculous. I'm going to guess that The Traitor by Grace Burroughs is Harlequin, considering the book cover.
Indeed.
Not really my style, but to each their own.
Indeed.
Why is there a book called Paw and Order?
Because reasons. Apparently it is a mystery.
There's a mystery called Paw and Order. Okay. Oh, there you go. The official Scrabble book. The official Scrabble Player's Dictionary. A must-have.
And it's the 5th edition, no less.
Hmm.
I wonder how many new words have been added that are allowed to be used in Scrabble.
probably half of urban dictionary.
Eh.
The other half is just words that people I swear.
The week of August 11th is rather boring for me. None of those books really looks that interesting to me, or at least none that I would go out of my way to go check out.
You mean you don't want to go out and read, what was that, go back? Emperor Pickletine Rides the Bus?
Granted, that one probably is one of the more entertaining options, but considering I still have over 100 books in my pile, I think I'll hold off.
I just saw a comic the other day on Tumblr that reminded me of you. A person out shopping at the bookstore. I already have so many books to read, but what's another one or two? 1 hour later, buried under a mountain of books. Help me! Help me!
Help me carry the books home.
Ooh,
Man,
the next D&D book.
Yeah,
The
D&D
Player's
5. Player's Handbook, finally.
Oh, see, I was looking at Sandra Brown.
Hmm.
I actually read a few of hers.
That one comes out the week of August 18th.
Percy Jackson's Greek Gods.
I've not finished reading that series, but the book version is pretty good and entertaining, although I'm kind of wary of what their breakdown of the Greek gods is going to be like, other than weird.
And next week, on August 25th week, I'm a little disturbed by the book Private Down Under.
It's a Patterson book.
Yeah.
It is a Patterson book, but that sounds like the name for a porno. A bad porno.
You should see some of the mysteries he writes that they could pass.
Mm.
I love him, but some of his stuff is kind of crazy.
I'm kind of intrigued by The Revenge of Seven. It's part of the I Am Number 4 series. Well, if you're number 4, why are there 7?
Well, you're number 4 of 7. Or number 4 of who knows how many.
Is that like 7 of 9 from Star Trek?
Sure.
Yeah, my head.
Or like those androids from Dragon Ball.
I can't talk about that one because it's September.
Well, we can take a peek. I don't see why not.
I just want the mobile book.
Which one?
The closer.
Oh, there. Ah. We get September 8th and beyond.
And another James Patterson's book.
That was him by himself. There's a couple of them.
No,
Multiple ones.
Oh yeah, I was looking at Burn, which is not by himself.
And then there's Hope to Die.
Hope to Die is not by himself too. It looks like there's another signature on the bottom, unless that's just like a subtitle.
It's subtitle.
The Return of Alex Cross.
Ooh, that
Well
one
then.
is worth picking up. I like Alex Cross.
Well, you have a little bit of a wait before that one comes out.
Yeah. I love the Alex Cross books.
Yeesh. Grisham, Follett, and Nora Roberts. A lot of heavy hitters in September. Or I guess September and beyond.
Get them all out there for Christmas.
And the new Wimpy Kid too, for the children's.
I'm impressed at how that series just keeps on and going.
Carla was into it for a while.
Mm.
I'm correct.
Are the Heroes of Olympus like a follow-up or spin-off series to Percy Jackson, or?
Couldn't tell you. I don't know anything about Percy Jackson.
Apparently this one's already on book 5, or will be.
Is it the same author?
I want to say so, but yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yeah. Weird.
It could be a tie-in series too.
That's probably it, just helping expand the universe and all that.
Is he sounding weird to you?
Is who sounding weird to what?
You. You keep, like, sounding like you're underwater. I don't know if it's just me or if it's something on your end or...
Doesn't sound that way to me.
I always sound weird to everyone, that's nothing new.
You just sound tired to me.
That's also nothing new. And to be fair, I am tired. Yeah, those seem to be the books coming up in the near future. At least that Barnes & Noble is highlighting.
I am
There's
interested in the
hundreds
player
of
handbook.
more. I'm kind of holding out until all of the 5 ebooks come out.
Hmm. I'm curious to see what changes to the rules they made.
All the changes.
Well, the player handbook is a good place to go because just looking at the changes on how character creation works can be interesting.
Hopefully I didn't play around with that too much.
I saw last week the starter kit in the
Yep.
bookstore, and yeah, that one.
To be fair, the artwork for this for 5e is pretty nice.
It is fantastic. It is definitely fantastic. The starter kit wasn't as much money as I was expecting it to be. I mean, here on the website, it's less than what I saw at the store, but I think the store I went to had it for like 18 something. It was around $20, I think. Comes with some cool stuff listed there. The adventure book, rule book for getting characters from 1 to 5 with 5 pre-generated characters, reference material, stuff like that. So I don't know if it
6
comes.
dice.
You only need 6.
Well, yeah, but are you going to share with everyone?
You can do that, since most people are rolling 1 at a time anyway.
Fair point.
You just need your D4, D6, D10, D12,
D20.
D20, and percentile. So
I've
6.
never actually used my percentile dice.
You don't really use it as much anymore. In older versions of D&D, you needed it for chance.
Of course, with 5e, who knows? Maybe they'll bring it back.
Could be.
I'm also intrigued by the storyline that they're building with the whole Rise of Tiamat and Horde of the Dragon Queen. It does sound interesting. Although I don't really want to fight a multi-headed dragon.
Aww. You know she has her own pit of lost souls, right?
I'd rather not fight them either. Especially the way I roll my dice.
Chances are if she killed you, that's where you'd end up. Because she just likes to keep the captured souls in that big old pit.
Let's see, that one comes out in October. So I think it was the Horde of the Dragon Queen came out, or is very soon. Next month. The whole staggered system is a little weird.
They've always done it that way, though.
No, wasn't it 4E where they kind of threw all of it out at once, and then that's why we had Player's Handbook 1, 2, and 3?
No, that was staggered out. There will probably be multiple player handbooks for this one, too. There usually are. Part of what it was is that the different player handbooks added, they had a lot of rule changes in Player Handbook 2 and 3 to certain mechanics, as well as adding in additional races and classes. Like if you look through Player Handbook 2, there's whole new rules for stealth and sneaking that elaborate more on how it works than Player Handbook 1 did.
It is somewhat disconcerting that it seems like their main storyline is to fight all the various dragons, and the monster manual is focusing on the Beholder. That's some pretty heavy-hitting monsters.
Beholders. I like beholders from a dungeon master's point of view.
You are an evil, evil person.
Chaotic evil. That's what beholders technically are, because they're abominations from the far realm, so they're chaotic.
Fair point. It is kind of a shame that that comes out a month after the player's handbook, so you still got to wait a while if you want to custom build your own
Yeah.
story.
Until then, you're stuck with the starter kit. Though I think you're supposed to be able to, like, rules from fourth edition can be rolled into 5th edition somewhat easily.
And hopefully there aren't too many significant changes to be made. Hopefully it's just kind of tweaking some of the stuff to balance things out.
I want a return of the old alignment system.
Uh-huh. But then I'd have to debate between neutral chaotic or chaotic neutral.
It's the same thing.
Says you.
I am Dungeon Master, so yes, that's me.
Ah, come on. And the other highlights that we had in the list were the convention we're going to next, because they've actually been updating their website lately, so it's worth talking about them, because we have more
Yay.
details to talk about. Because in less than a month, we're going to Inconceivable,
Yes.
because we've hashed out all the details. So if you want to see all of us in person and get all sorts of shiny baubles, you can go to Inconceivable in Northampton, Massachusetts. And it's all based in the one hotel, so you don't really have to travel, unless you count going up and down the elevator.
Mm.
And considering that the first guest on the list is Happy Hour Burlesque, it might be worth noting that it is not a 100% family-friendly convention. There are some 18-plus things going on.
Indeed.
Those are for after hours.
Kind of similar to how we have an 18-plus panel happening that weekend.
We do, don't we?
Yes.
Yay.
And 2 other all-ages panels. Yay.
Yay.
They got some interesting guests as well. Some comic artists, some Star Trek actors. I doubt that they will be in full costume and makeup and all that, but you never know. I'm still intrigued as to why the authoress is in a bathtub. There's very minimal context for this, or no context, really. And I have never heard of Vampire Santa before, but apparently there is a Vampire Santa.
Indeed.
He sounded intriguing.
And Charles Dunbar, who does the study of anime, is apparently doing all sorts of panels that weekend. And he is ridiculously well-read and knowledgeable about all things anime and geeky and nerdy and all that. I would love to make it to some of those panels, or if any of us could make it to some of those panels.
Mm.
And lots of cosplayers, apparently professional cosplayers. So all sorts of people to check out, and shiny dealers.
Like us.
We're all the way at the bottom, because we were one of the first. Haha. And we're going to be relatively unique there, because a lot of them are gaming stores or clothing or artists.
Cosplay.
Yeah. Or if you need tails or ears.
I know of a couple people that need ears.
It is kind of weird that they go from like the ears to the tails to the arm or leg warmers to entire fursuits, and then kind of backtracking to bikinis. Do the bikinis have fur on them, or are they just bikinis? That is not
Oh,
specified.
They could be furkinis.
seen them.
That would have been more interesting to put on the list.
Furkinis?
Yeah.
Mm.
So I guess we shall have to find out.
Is there a map layout of where we're going to be yet available?
No.
Okay. So we'll be in there somewhere.
Yeah. But there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 72. I think there's 9 of us as vendors. So chances are it'll be in like one of their ballrooms or
Yeah.
conference rooms, whatever they have available for those. I'm sure it'll be all listed in whatever program they provide on day one, or whenever
Indeed.
you happen to make it. And I know the various people who are coordinating this have become very responsive, so if you have questions, you can email them and they get back to you pretty quickly if you want to learn more.
They sorted out their shenanigans.
Yes. And let's see, it's from Friday to Sunday, 3 p.m. to 4 p.m. So a little over 3 days entirely.
Hmm.
Goodness. That's going to be fun.
Oh, yeah.
And considering our badge registration was complicated, what is the weekend membership?
Mhm.
Uh, doo-doo-doo. If you get it soon, it's only $30 for the entire weekend. That's pretty darn good.
That is really good.
Hmm.
That's like, no, I can't say that. I can't say that in the air.
Yeah, be careful of who you get it, who you anger.
We'll just say that's a really good price.
Yeah. I mean, if you can't pre-order, the door price is only 35. So it's not going to jump up much.
30 if you're in the military.
Not for me.
Or presumably were in the military, since usually retired cards still count.
Yeah.
Or veteran cards.
And I presume only primarily the U.S. military. I don't think Ed's IDs would count.
Yeah.
Although you're welcome to try.
That'd be hilarious.
That would be funny if I pulled out my
Pull out a Mestress military badge and they're like, you know what? Yeah, fine. Here you go.
God, I wear dog tags everywhere. I'm waiting for somebody to do that.
You risked your life to protect a Mestress from the Shvalins. You can take $5 off.
Oy. But yeah, that's also the second to last convention we're going to be attending this year. The only other one is Rhode Island Comic Con, and that's in November.
That's a little bit of a ways away.
Yes. So if you want to actually check us out in person, this is the most convenient place to do it at the moment.
Certainly the most personal.
Hmm.
It's not as big as the other conventions that we are attending.
Let's see. The other... Oh yeah, the other... I should take myself off a screen share because I don't want to show the show notes.
Hmm.
There. There were other highlights. No, there's just the one. I finished reading Scott Sigler's Contagion this week, and it's twisted. Incredibly so. That is not... What would that be? I guess it's kind of an apocalyptic scenario in that alien spores are trying to take over the world, as far as people know. And that one really kicked things up a notch. I'm kind of afraid of Book 3. Especially considering how many of the main characters are going to be in Book 3. Or not in Book 3, as the case is. Hey, your neighbor's mowing the lawn again.
Yeah.
Right on time.
Of course. Only it had rained a bit longer.
Yeah, all right. It's Sunday afternoons. That's what Daddy does.
It was actually pretty cool. Earlier, it downpoured for a couple seconds, but it is actually a wall of rain. So I was sitting here, and we have the trees out the window on this side. I heard the rain in the trees first before it got here, and I heard the rain getting louder and louder until a wall of water just washed over the house.
Where did I put the... Oh. Yeah. That was a hard book to finish, because that author is painfully detailed in some of the descriptions of what happens to those characters. And considering those characters are being taken over by alien spores that are eating them from the inside out, that's a little more graphic than I'd like.
Fun.
That's why I'm a little wary of triangles from now on. Or kitchen shears. What am I reading now? I'm kind of trading off on that. Now I'm reading Call of the Jersey Devil by Aurelio Voltaire. This one's a lot sillier. And I'm also been perusing my gigantic volume of Dominic Deegan from Kineticon. So many books to read, not enough time.
I haven't been reading much of anything lately.
Outside of ranting about that one manga.
Yeah, I'm still up in the air on that one. The Sacred Blacksmith is... I just read Volume 5. They need... Speaking of plot, they need to figure out what they want their plot to be.
Do they keep changing it, or has one not solidified yet?
They keep setting up that there's this huge thing going on between the various nations in this world they've created. It's almost like a Cold War setup, where they've all got access to a really powerful weapon they could use, but they're all afraid to use it because they've seen what happens when you use it. So they're all basically dancing on airs and trying to play nice, while really they all want to take control, which I find would be an interesting plot, considering the central city, the neutral city, where the story takes place, houses the one demon that is the source of all this power, sealed away. And, oh yeah, the seal is breaking, and they have to make a new one, like, within a couple of years or something like that. They've only got, like, a year or so. And the one man who could make the seal died, and his son isn't quite good enough to make the seal yet. He's been practicing. And it's really cool. I want to read that story. But then they keep forcing the unnecessary and what I feel is somewhat forced relationship between the female protagonist and this kid who needs to make the seal to the forefront of the story. But then they'll push it to the front and then push it back, and then push it to the front and then push it back.
But everyone loves reading love stories in these types of plots. How can you not have one?
I don't mind if a relationship develops between them. I actually compared it to Ed earlier, like to Spice and Wolf. There is a relationship, even early on, you can feel that there's a relationship forming between Lawrence and Holo. But it's slowly, and it's on the side. It's forming because of the way the plot's going. They act like themselves in the main plot, and the way they act kind of fuels their relationship on the side.
Yeah. The global economics still seems to be at the forefront of that plot.
Right.
At least as far as I've gotten so far.
The Sacred Blacksmith, they're not doing it that way. They'll do a part that fits for this overall story about the world situation, which I think is what they want to be the plot. And then from out of nowhere, they'll really heavily push the relationship. And of course, Sicily is tsundere about it. So everyone's poking her like, oh, you like him, right? You like him, right? You like him, right? And her response is always, no. And then she gets all blushy and runs off and does the whole typical anime, yeah, I do, but I'm not going to tell anybody crap. And she keeps waffling about whether she wants to be independent or rely on other people. She can't make up her mind.
Maybe flip a coin.
I think part of the problem is, like Spice and Wolf, the Sacred Blacksmith is done like it was. It's a manga interpretation of a light novel series.
That's tricky to do.
It is. So I think part of the problem is coming from that, because there are certain plot points that are also feeling rushed. Something that may have taken 4 chapters in a novel, which is a long time in a novel, needs more than 4 chapters in a manga to effectively do.
Yeah.
Because 4 chapters in a manga are a lot shorter than 4 chapters in a novel. So I'm wondering if it's just a pacing issue that they're having translating it over from novel to manga. Because even in you read the back stuff in Spice and Wolf, and they say one of the biggest issues they have is keeping the pacing.
Yeah. I
But
feel like they're doing a pretty respectable job for that series, though.
Spice and Wolf, they're doing a fantastic job of keeping a good flow, keeping a good pace of the plot. I don't know if they're doing as good of a job in the Sacred Blacksmith. I'm going to keep giving it a try. Maybe they'll find a balance. Because early on it was good. It's just the last couple volumes were a little rocky.
Well, you never know. Maybe they'll also expand it into an anime, and maybe that one will do it justice.
I wouldn't be surprised if they already have, at least in Japan.
Although the Spice and Wolf anime versus the manga versus the light novel, there are certain things that are different.
That is inevitable.
Yeah.
But sometimes you get perks out of that. I know in the manga, they added stories that were cut from the novel, but the original author had intended to put in. Like some of the backstory of that, the shepherd girl.
Nora?
Yes. There was one chapter that was just about her. An admittedly depressing chapter.
Yeah.
I think that was only implied in the novel. Like they were going to put a whole thing in there for it, but I think it got cut, so they just implied it. So with the manga, they were able to add it in.
It's always interesting how they manage to convey the same storyline across the different formats. What can make it into one, but not the other? What needs to be changed because politics?
I like the way the Gurren Lagann did it.
Yeah.
The manga actually expanded the anime.
Yeah, the manga, when they were, I don't know if they're still doing it, they were working on a manga. Yeah. And they actually told the story but expanded it because there were stuff the original creator of Gurren Lagann wanted in the anime that they cut for time purposes, and they were able to do like a chapter in the manga that added to it that better explained who a character was.
That would be nice because that anime series is weird. And the placing is weirder.
They only covered, as far as I know, because I was collecting the manga, they only did the first half where Simone was just a kid. So they did everything from the beginning up to the defeat of the Spiral King.
And then the shit hits the fan all over again.
Yeah.
They put that in the manga.
Yeah, they didn't, as far as I can tell, they didn't make that into a manga. They just did that first part. But that whole thing about the village where they sacrificed the people and they had that one elderly woman in control, the manga explains who she is.
Nice.
No, it was a she. Because she was like, I can't remember any of their names. The Spiral King's daughter that he kicks out, the one with the clover eyes.
Yeah, okay, that one.
The woman in charge of that village was another one of those.
Well, that's not confusing or weird at all.
The Spiral King has a whole bunch of them. He just raises them for a while, and then when he was bored with them, he just kicked them out. And this one, in order to survive, took control of that village, and everyone in the village is raised to be the Spiral King's wives.
Because that's not sketchy at all.
Oh, it was totally sketchy. And the woman explains that to her, and the whole thing was they had to cut that out of the anime. But in the manga, they got to better explain who she was and what the situation was. And another reason why the Spiral King needed to be taken out.
Never mind all the various problems it created later on.
Yeah, well. Can't make an omelet without breaking a few eggs. So they say.
Yeah, unless you know the right science.
Oh.
Let's see. Let's move on to the Muse food.
Yeah, we should probably move on.
Alright, time for writing prompts. Back to the screen share. Alright, each week we provide multiple styles of writing prompts because we like giving people ideas. So they have as many plot bunnies as we do. And we like to do them in multiple formats because every writer is different, so some things inspire one writer but not others. So we give you 10 one-liners, 10 one-worders, and a combination of Rory's story cubes for those that prefer a more visual format for their ideas. And since there's conveniently 3 people on the show, theoretically, each of us can take a segment. What?
I'll take the cubes.
Does Ed have a preference?
Not particularly.
Since you haven't done these in forever and a day, you get the one-liners.
Okay. So I suppose I should start, huh?
Yeah, you can kick things off.
Okay. So our one-line writing prompts for the week. The witches upstairs know what they're doing. And here's another thing to worry about. Stop shouting at the walls. They may shout back. I've designed the system to feed you for a week. Rain spattered the crime scene for the 3rd time today. That's not what I was expecting. For the last time, dog, I don't have a cookie for you. Your drink is on fire. Might want to deal with that. I'm too adamant to get into it with you tonight. And the last one, she shattered the mirror over the burglar's head.
Well, you gotta do something to the burglar.
I'm still laughing at the drink is on fire.
Well, it's kind of hard to drink a drink if it is on fire.
And I just had this really funny boy and scene in my head. Go through my head when I saw that. So.
You know, plot bunnies.
Plot bunnies.
Not sorry. Alright, your one-word writing prompts for this week are profile, yeah, evidence, strategy, prompt, distract, glamour, needle, brooch, and grind. And
all right, so our story cubes for this week appear to be a man eating a large cookie by the looks of it, a snake, an individual surprised by something falling behind him. Can't really tell what it is. What looks like a hard-boiled egg with the top of the shell removed. We have what is either an alien's head or a theater mask with a blank expression. We have a man whose shadow is a giant monster. We have a mushroom. We have a little man talking to a big man. And we have what appears to be two people fighting. Fisticuffs. So we had the snake and the mushroom, but no badgers. Shame.
You beat me to it.
So close. So close.
I should have tossed that in the one-word writing prompts. But I did those before I pulled up the image. Alright, those are your writing prompts for this week. As always, you don't have to use all of them, or even any of them. You can create something entirely different based off of whatever your brain gets inspired by. If you happen to write a short story or flash fiction based off of any of these pieces, we would love to read it. You can send us a copy of the piece or the URL where we can read it to our email address, which is wordninja@fcwriters.com, conveniently at the bottom of the PDF. And also screen share. There we go. And now, scrolling down, goals and aspirations. Everyone's favorite part.
Which has a new format.
I felt it was easier to start merging the current and future goals for everyone so that we're not rotating through and then rotating through again. It feels a little choppy that way.
Especially since most of the time our goals and aspirations don't change from week to week.
Yeah, we've kind of evolved from, I'm going to do this in 1 week, to this is an ongoing thing and here's a progress update.
Yeah.
Which a lot of creative endeavors do take more than a week.
Yeah.
Unless it's just some milestone thing that happens to be coming up. Like a convention, but let's see. I'll kick things off, because why not? Let's see. Various Inspire the Muse endeavors. Sellable baubles. I need to coordinate with Ed next weekend. Convention logistics. I need to coordinate with everyone within the next 2 weeks. I have all of the fiddly details to the best of my knowledge. It's just pulling it all together in a convenient manner.
And we need to work out like food stuff and all kinds
Yeah.
of business.
Or at least we have a fridge this time.
Yes. Presumably we can figure a lot of that out next weekend when some of us are together.
Yes.
Partnerships and affiliations. There's a couple that I'm still in talks with to figure out logistics and details. None are fully fleshed out yet, so meh. Brand management. I need to meet up with the sheep at some point to talk about logos and imagery and stuff, because we're slowly getting closer to Terror 2015. Interviews and networking. We have a guest coming up in 2 weeks, right before Inconceivable. That has been confirmed, and we have another dozen in the works, but we haven't figured out specific dates, so we're getting there. I want to poke at the new Mermentals plot bunny. I'm going to force time this week to do that. I don't want it to become another Dusty plot bunny, because it really does seem like it would be fun.
Go for it.
Actually, I did the reading review for Copper Raven, so I can take that off. And like I said, I finished Scott Sigler's Contagion, so that's now been migrated to the pile of what I need to review. Currently reading Call of the Jersey Devil, Dominic Deegan, who knows what else. We'll see how the week takes me. And not on the list, but also deal with all the follow-up involved from yesterday's meeting of doom with Reality Man. We figured out a lot of the logistics of how Terra 2015 is going to happen, or what we want to do. But now we've kind of hit the point where a lot of it is legalities, so we need to do our due research.
Mm.
And then, of course, bringing everyone into the full loop and up to speed and all those other cliche phrasings. So kind of a full plate for me. Who's up next? Not Calvin, even though he's on this list.
Apparently,
I
he felt the
nominate
last bullet and let Crunchyroll consume his life.
I'm going to let Will go next.
All right. So I had on here to practice the Literotica panel every day if possible. I did not. Not even once.
I'm going to force you to do it next weekend.
Probably should. I'm gonna do the do.
Oh my.
Not do the do. You know what I mean. Record more gameplay. That's something that I'm just gonna keep on there because it could happen at any point in time with how random we are with it.
Yeah.
Or we're just like, we should record this. Okay. Write for roommate. I have been, as I mentioned earlier, writing successfully, slowly but successfully. So I am pleased with that and hope to continue the progress and eventually get this chapter done. I should write this one down as well because it needs to be done. Edit together. Then with the recordings as requested by the boss man.
Hopefully there's not background noise or crazy demonic screeching on it. At least no more than normal.
Are you expecting there to possibly be, or are you just blanket warning?
I'm hoping there won't be, but blanket warning because there were 2 parts, one on each file, where I was driving on a dirt road, so all bets are off.
We'll see how it goes.
I'm kind of hoping that those parts are cut simply because of the swearing.
Sometimes I leave the swearing in because of the swearing.
The trip there definitely had the most. I lost it.
Or maybe I'll cut them out and save them for a blooper reel.
Oh dear.
You can go in with your other swearing rant where you just basically said "F that" to everything.
Well, this one was an F that to everything on the road.
I might save that for side. I've been slowly collecting snippets of your road rage.
There's a lot of them.
Oh yeah, I think that might make a nice blooper side reel. CJ versus traffic.
It's like a rage quit series that I can't quit.
And that's pretty much it for me.
And since it's been forever and a day since Ed has updated, would you like to join in?
I'm just kind of listening stuff here. Basically, personally, just get more stuff drawn because drawing seems to be working for me lately. And I gotta practice with the markers Sam gave me. 'Cause I need to draw for my own fun stuff too. And as far as the not personal, I gotta get all the buttons listed on the website.
And then I'm going to ruin it next week by giving you more.
No, but I have the designs. I have the designs that I don't have buttons for. So I can at least get it set up. I don't necessarily have to put them on.
Okay.
But the 10 I told you I was missing.
Ah.
Any of the others, yeah. After next weekend, we'll see how much I'm adding. Because I think I still have to do, like, if you want, we have to still add, like, the bookmarks and the stickers, and we can discuss what to do with those.
Yeah, that's going to be a behind-the-scenes conversation.
Yes. But that discussion needs to happen.
Yeah.
That's on my list. And basically just trying not to go crazy before inconceivable.
Join in the craziness. We're all going crazy.
I've already lost it. So I'm trying not to like tweak out. How's that?
I'll try and be good when I visit you. At least as good as I ever am.
Yes. But that's pretty much it. I try not to. Goals have been simple and sweet lately because not making goals makes me really, really bad, and I don't want to deal with feeling like that. So I handle what I can handle.
Fair enough. We all have plenty to play with, it seems like.
Oh yes.
All right. That is going to slowly wrap things up for this episode. We are brought to you by various places and various groups and organizations and peoples and shiny baubles. The full list is in the show notes on the website. I don't really feel like doing the rotation of who's it going to be this week. It's just all of them. They're brought to you by everyone.
Brought to you by viewers like you.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, the sun's out, so I'm whitewashed again.
Now, if we happen to entertain you in any way, shape, or form, you can show your appreciation very easily by subscribing to our YouTube channel. If you're watching this, you've already found our YouTube channel. Hooray! You can watch, comment, and thumbs up all of our videos because we have the entire backlog of this podcast. We have book reviews. We have press junkets, panel recordings, Minecraft stuff. A lot of future endeavors in the works. So subscribe so you can keep track of it all. And you can obviously go to fcwriters.com, which is where everything else is posted. So if you want to check out other worksheets, workshops, the other book reviews, event stuff, it's all over there. And with that, let's do the whole wrapping things up by who are we anyway, and where can people find us on the internets? As always, I'm going to go last, so eeny, meeny, miny, Ed.
I kind of figured that was going to happen. All right, where can you find me? Primarily, any of my many role-playing blogs on Tumblr. My main one is the Full Metal Edward Elric.tumblr.com. It is selectively NSFW. Some days it is, some days it's not. Watch my tags. I also have a personal. I post a lot of my art and stuff there too, which is XXX, and that's like XXX. Ed Kuhn, and then 3 more X's at .tumblr.com. The only other place that you really see a lot of me remotely is DeviantArt, and that's ladymidnight.deviantart.com. I have a live stream. It doesn't get used very much these days. Follow my Tumblr when it's active. I post a link. And of course my unused Twitter accounts. People seem to keep finding. I don't know why, because I don't post anything to them. But my role-playing one is Ed the Alchemist, and my personal one is Midnight Alchemist. You can see exactly how to spell those in the show notes later. And of course I take commissions, and all that detail stuff is actually also on my Edward Tumblr page. So there's a little link right in the sidebar, just click. It's all there. That's me.
And Will. As usual, you can typically find me on my Tumblr page. That's darkhom.tumblr.com. Darkhom is DARKHOM. excuse me, it's my personal blog, so I blog whatever I want, and that includes plenty of not safe for work stuff. So keep an eye out for that. But I do tag it NSFW if you don't want to see it. I also have my writing blog. Excuse me. My roommate's a stripper at myroommatesstripper.tumblr.com, so I post all things for my roommate's a stripper. I created an Ask blog for it at asktheroommates.tumblr.com. That is potentially not safe work depending on what's asked and how it's answered. You can also find my writing stuff on sofurry.com at darkhome.sofurry.com. The not safe for work stuff requires an account to view, so if you don't have an account, you'll only view safe work stuff. And for me, that's mostly it, because I'm never on my Twitter account.
Let's see. As for myself, you can find me on my zombified Twitter account, silver_wolf85. I occasionally go through bouts of using it for a day or two, and then I forget it for a week. Seems to be par for the course. You can track me down on the Fairy Tale podcast Monday nights as Mockeroff. Just track down their YouTube channel. They live stream at 10 p.m. Monday nights. And my personal Tumblr is fancypantswolf.tumblr.com, and that is NSFW-ish. I have my moments, but I do my best to tag that accordingly. It's probably the only things that I tag on there. Everything else I'm too lazy to bother.
Yeah, same here.
I'm one of those people. Now, as for full coverage writers, which covers everything and anything we tend to do, our website, as we mentioned, was fcwriters.com. We have an Etsy store now, thanks to the almighty Ed. Etsy.com/shop/full-coverage-writers. And check back regularly as more shiny baubles are posted.
Yes, I maintain yours and I maintain mine.
Let's see. If you are not watching this via our YouTube channel, like if you're just checking it out on the website, or if you're listening to the audio version of the podcast, you can track it down. You can just search Full Coverage Writers. That's probably the easiest way, but the short URL is wnja.us/YouTube. We have literary Twitter handle, which is at FCWordNinja. Our literary Tumblr is fcwordninja.tumblr.com. Facebook, facebook.com/fullcoveragewriters. And for anything and everything else, you can just email us. The email is wordninja@fcwriters.com. And with that, we're going to wrap up episode 52 of Word Ninjas Live. Tune in next week where it's episode 53. And at the moment, we do not have any special guests scheduled, but as I mentioned before, we have a dozen or so in the works, so hey, you never know, we might surprise you. And who knows, considering after that we'll have had a day-long overnight session of coordinating stuff, who knows what sort of rambles and rants we'll have. So check it out next time. And with that, have a good week, all. Ta-ta. Either that, or I just keep on going back to my zombie apocalypse universe over and over and over and over. And then I don't play with anything else. Which isn't very fair.
I have the problem of already concocting spin-offs for Roommate, and I haven't even finished Roommate yet. And I already have definitely 2 short story spin-offs, and one that could potentially become another long novella-sized or novel-sized spin-off, or maybe even a continuation of. And sometimes those plots like to eke into my head and formulate, and it's not time for them yet because I need to finish Roommate first. Because it requires Roommate to be over first.
There's no way to multitask and kind of play with both at the same time?
I can, like, plot out what to do, but I don't want to write it yet. Just in case I change anything for Roommate, I don't want to lock myself down with something in a spin-off and then forget about it and get things all screwy.
Fair enough. I think my biggest problem with new plot ideas is I want to invest the appropriate amount of time to make them novel lengths, but unless it's November, it just doesn't seem to happen. And some of these ideas I feel are worth the time investment to get them fully fleshed out or at least played with. And then I feel guilty when I don't.
Mm. I'm just glad that I'm getting like half a page to a page written a day. Scientists did just discover an entire ocean deep beneath the surface of the Earth. So
Anything is possible.
There was one going around on Tumblr the other day about a hospital run by monster creatures. And like werewolves were like those support pets, and vampires gave blood or acted like leeches, and what was it? Oh, I think it was something about they could sniff out blood disease. And they'd use that to try and help identify blood diseases, and there was a whole thing.
That would be an interesting take on it. Kind of similar to how there was a post a while back about Pokemon being helpers for various things, mostly for like physical or psychological needs.
Yeah. It is implied in the Pokemon universe that they actually do that.
At least when people aren't forcing them to fight each other.
Yeah. You do notice they also do manual labor and whatnot beside people. Like if you go to a mine, there'll be humans and Pokemon mining the mine together.
I wonder what sort of salary they get for that.
They get paid in Pokepuffs. That is the one thing I noticed. I don't think the Pokemon get paid. I think it's basically slave labor. Nobody ever talks about that.
I'm sure PETA loved that.
You didn't hear about the whole web game they made about Pokemon a few years back?
Yeah. PETA is special.
PETA is special. I heard they volunteered to...
Anything else that we have next weekend, so I'm going to confuse it all over again. Just for Ed.
Oh, I'm sure he'll be thrilled. More stuff.
All I hear is grumbling in the background, so I presume I have done my job well.
Yeah, pretty much.
Alright. We only have the one talkie point scheduled for this week, because that's all I came up with. But it came about because plot bunnies are distracting.
Oh, yeah.
The one talkie point for this episode that I have is how much time, energy, or effort do you put into fleshing out or playing with new story ideas? Because I got a sparkly plot bunny this week, and it amuses me.
It's a rare shiny plot bunny?
I like to think so.
Yay!
Although I haven't gotten to play with it as much as I want. But usually, if I get a new idea that I think is really worth playing with, I just do a brief outline of what I have or what instigated the idea. And if I have the time, I'll play with it a little bit. And if I don't, I let it sit and gather dust for 3 millennia. And if I'm lucky, I'll remember just what the heck I was going on about whenever I get back.
Then it becomes a plot dust bunny.
Yeah, I have a lot of those. I have several binders worth of those. They all seemed like good ideas at the time, but then I don't remember why they were good ideas at the time.
That goes. So many stories left forgotten because new plot bunnies came up.
Good afternoon, ladies and menfolk. Welcome to episode 52 of Word Ninjas Live. Coming to you another week to talk about wordy things and all the crazy shenanigans that we get into. Kind of a short crew this week. Just your instigator of literary insanity, myself. And joining me is Will.
Hello.
Apparently I scared everyone else away. Don't know where they wandered off to. So you get just the two of us for this time around. Unless they happen to be fashionably late, which, as you know, sometimes we do. That's the way it goes. And now that we're actually live, I can actually send all the social media stuff because I did not pre-schedule that. And it doesn't let you do it like 5 minutes beforehand.
How terribly inconvenient.
It does get a bit cranky at the last minute. There we go. Now, as you can see, we do not have any special guests this week, but we do have a couple lined up for future episodes, and about another dozen or so still in the works. So look forward to those. Really hope that some of the dozen actually can be solidified in the next week or so before convention time.
Yay, more convention.
Yeah, then we get to be crazy all over again.
At least this time it looks like on a smaller scale.
Yeah. It's going to be a smaller scale, and it's going to be a little more organized. Mainly in the fact that I've been forced to delegate. So it's not all on me.
The
Hooray.
buttons do look very highly organized right now, I will let you know.
Yeah, well, I'm going to
Proud
do
of
that
that,
next
thank you.
weekend. Because I'm going to bring
I
every...
know. On the days that I do write. Which is about half the days of the week so far.
That's better than me lately. Mostly it's just been a lot of editing for my day job, or writing for the day job, or outlining stuff for Terra 2015. I don't get to do much creative writing, even when I get shiny plot bunnies.
Aww.
But I think I am going to force myself to have time to play with this one because it really does interest me. I do kind of want to see just how I could make it play out.
Mm.
And I blame Tumblr for giving me the idea.
Oh, Tumblr is great for giving you ideas you don't want.
It was all based on a weird concept of, well, you have mermaids, but what if there are mermaids in lava?
I thought you were going to go with the ones that are mermaids that were half human, half other sea creatures, like the anglerfish mermaid and the shark mermaid and the jellyfish mermaid.
Well, it led me to think of, well, if the regular mermaids are the water equivalent, then why can't there be one for every element? So you have an air mermaid and an earth mermaid. And then that led me...
Well, wouldn't an air mermaid be a harpy?
Yeah, or succubus or some such. That's kind of where I tried to make a connection. And I don't know what the land mermaid would be.
Tortoise? A land tortoise?
Maybe a platypus.
That would be funny. And nothing lives in lava, so...
That we know of.
That we know of.